definitely.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, we will definitely do a part two. We'll run this back. But welcome everyone back to the Educator Wellness Revolution podcast. And we are so excited to have our new community organizer, Dominique Moore.
Hey,
Oh,
Dominique.
hey guys. Yes, I got a promotion.
And the only, which we were just talking about, the only current elected representative in Ward 8, LaJoy Johnson-Law on the state board.
Hey, guys.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon, beautiful ladies.
Well, I'm so excited to have you both on here. And I thought we would start with, if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are and your role in education. And LaJoy, we'll start with you.
Oh, I was going to let Dominique go first.
I can go first because she is the elected official, as we said. I am, just the community organizer, so I can go first. I don't mind.
All right.
Well, my name is Dominique Moore. I am a mother first and foremost, I guess. That's the biggest hat and title I wear. I am an educator in DCPS. I've been teaching for, I think, 15 years. I've probably been in DCPS the past 6 or 7, let's say pre-pandemic. I am the community organizer also for Empower Ed. I have a community-based organization called Life Reign that I run out of Ward 7 and 8. I do a lot of different things. I'm a project manager, I'm a mom, a community organizer, advocate, everything community, youth, and women. So I love it.
Thank you. And thank you for all the work that you do. I honestly, I feel like every event that I go to with you, everyone knows you already. But you really are out there in the community.
You too. We always in the same room.
LaJoy, would you like to share about yourself?
Yes. And then Dominique, one, I just love you. And just like really quick, I just like want to toot her horn. I love all the work that she's doing. And for your impact, I just need you to know that I went to McKinley Tech with Representative Henderson. They had their Ward 5 PTO meeting last week, and I ran into a young lady there. I cannot remember her name, but she was like, I met you at Life Rain at Sycamore and Oak. It was Dominique's event. I'm so happy that she had you come. And I was like, oh my God, I love Life Rain. I love Dominique too. We're now forever connected. And so I just thought that was so powerful that she was like, I met you at Life Rain. And I was like, oh, love Dominique. So I just wanted to toot your horn for just a quick second and just let you know that because I was actually supposed to text you that. So
I appreciate it.
but hey, good people. My name is LaJoy Johnson-Law. I have the honor of representing all of Ward 8 on the State Board of Education, DC State Board. Carolina's right. As of June 5th, 2025, I am the only elected official that represents all of Ward 8 right now. So I take that with immense pride, with immense honor, but also just like, it's a big responsibility and just want to make sure the board is uplifted. As Dominique said, my biggest hat, my most important hat, because like being an elected official, that's like number 2. Number 1 is being Abria's mom. Abria is 13 years old. She goes to E.L. Haynes Public Charter School. She is a rising 9th grader. So we are graduating. That baby is 13. She'll be 14 in August. She's going to high school in August. And so she was just 2, or like she was just 3. I don't know what happened. And time has just flown by. And so like I'm just immensely proud of her. She's my rock. She's my guiding light. She's how I got into a lot of this work, and I'll talk about that later. I'm a PhD student, so I'm working on my PhD in public policy and administration.
Nice.
I am praying that that'll be done September. Like, cross your fingers. I'm working on chapter 5. Cross your fingers. And honestly, there's so much, but I'm just like, no, we can talk about that in a convo, but just like, that's just like the basics of it, I work at Advocates for Justice in Education. So we're the Parent Training Information Center for DC. So I still do contract work with them. Oh, Lord. And now the phone's ringing and everybody wants to call when I'm trying to talk to Empower Ed, but it's okay. I'll tell them I'll call them back.
I had to put the phone on Do Not Disturb.
Right. I was like, wait, I knew I was forgetting something. I was supposed to put the phone on, vibrate. But anyway, that's just a little bit about me. I don't want to take up too much time talking about myself because it's weird and I feel weird doing it. So I'm going to hand it back to Caroline.
Well, we have you on here because we want you both to talk about yourself. And I didn't know that soon we'll have a Dr. Johnson-Law, so that's very exciting. Um, well, I'm hoping that you could share a little bit more about your stories as well. So if you could tell us a little bit about why you're passionate about special education and what led you to this work.
Yeah. Carolyn, do you want us to go in reverse order?
So let's do
Okay,
this.
I felt Dominique, I felt it. I was like, okay, reverse order. Like, so that way it's fair. Okay. So I tell this to everybody, but for those watching who may not know, really quick, just hold out your hand like this really quick, just like a scoop, really quick. All right. So that's how big Abria was. She was so small that she could fit in the palm of your hand. And so and you can put your hands down. Thank you, y'all. And so, because I tell people, you know, she was born at 23 weeks. She was a pound and 6 ounces. But to give people a visual for folks to really contextualize like how small she was. She's a miracle kiddo. I'll be real with you. I wasn't supposed to be a mom. That baby was not supposed to be here. And so she's my miracle kid, but because she was born so early, she has special education needs. She has special healthcare needs as well. So Abria is a kiddo that is diagnosed with epilepsy. She's diagnosed with chronic lung disease, and she also has a cardiac condition as well. She does have an IEP. She is diagnosed with an intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, and other health impairments. So that's OHI. But I think both Caroline, you've met my daughter. You've met Abria. Okay. And Dominique, we know you know Abria. Like Dominique is probably Abria has like a list of advocates. I think Dominique is probably like 1A. Don't mess with my baby. Yes, ma'am. And so if you have met my daughter, you would think that, oh my gosh, like she's a beautiful young lady. You would never know really anything's wrong. But that's because we pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, both with the healthcare system and the education system. And so just navigating early intervention, navigating DCPS, navigating DC charters is honestly just navigating the entire DC educational system to be able to get her appropriate services and to also make sure that her IEP is implemented. Because of that, it inspired me. That's why I went back to school to get like my master's, to go to get my doctoral degree, to be able to not only help children, but to help their parents and their caregivers actually. So that's what my study is about, is caring for children with an intellectual disability, a caregiver's perspective. How can we uplift their voices and be able to help them with in regards to policy, to be able to uplift them. That's why I ran for office. I didn't see anybody like me. I didn't see any moms on the board at the time I was running. I definitely didn't see special education, that perspective really on the board as well, especially coming from a parent, especially east of the river. Shout out to east of the river. That includes Ward 7 and 8. And so that's how I got into all of this. That's why I became an advocate. That's my daughter, honestly, is my guiding light, and I'm thankful for her. She's taken me to so many different places, and I really pray that God continues to open doors, so that way I'm able to open up more doors for other people to walk through, to be able to help more families and people in Ward 8. And honestly, not even just Ward 8, but honestly, just in the city, especially when it comes to special education. It's something that's really forgotten. We think about it kind of, after the fact. And so we have to stop doing that. We have to be more intentional. And so I'm just really thankful that you all are having this conversation and including me as we talk through the problems, but also just talk through solutions. And then I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna pass it to Dominique to talk about her experience as well.
Um, so I'm an educator, like I said, 15 years, and I have been in special education the entire time. Um, when I went to undergrad, I knew that I wanted to be in education, but I wanted to work on the culture and policy side. In undergrad, um, education and administration isn't an undergrad degree. So I had to pick a route to get me there. And the next thing that I fell in love with was special education. So I'll tell you a quick story. First time I got suspended in school, yes, I got suspended. First time I got suspended in school, I got suspended for advocating for somebody else. And the teacher didn't like that. And that was kind of my segue into knowing that I would always be an advocate for the underdog. I would always be a voice for the voiceless because I did not mind speaking up. And that was one of the reasons that I love special education. I often felt like it was the people that they counted out, it was the people that they disregarded, it was the people that needed the most support but weren't getting that. And that's essentially why I went into special education and learned about all of the different disabilities and how they affect the whole child, and not just the child but the family and the community. And that's kind of how I got into where I am. I've been a self-contained teacher, so I've worked with severe and profound students. I did that all the way up until my daughter's father was a victim of gun violence, and then I actually became a caregiver to somebody who had a traumatic brain injury as a result of a gunshot wound. And then I became a special education coordinator, and then I went back into the classroom to do mild to moderate disabilities with as inclusion and resource co-teaching, things of that model. But that was kind of my path into education. I'm ready to transition because, as we know, a lot of our teachers, especially in special education, get burnt out. And I'm not ready to walk away from education, but I am ready to kind of pivot and use my experiences to kind of see how we can reform and navigate moving forward.
Thank you for sharing, both of you. Thank you for sharing those stories. And like the advocacy journey. I think you're right that like there's a core of advocacy within, working in special education as an educator. The parent perspective, it is really critical.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Dominique, I love what you said too, just about raising up that burnout and just saying like, okay, I got to do it a different way. Cause I think like when I was first starting out with Abria, and I was like, well, if this is happening to me, then, and I'm having struggles, like when she wasn't early intervention and she wasn't getting her speech or her OT services. And she was at one of the centers where she, in Strong Start to be able to get these services. And so that was what really, I think, just kind of just went whoosh. I'm like emailing Aussie, I'm emailing the school, I'm emailing the CEO, which is all these different people. And I'm looking at her teachers and they're trying and they're just like burnt out. And so I was thinking, I was like, well, at first I thought I was like, well, maybe I'll be helpful in the classroom. Like maybe that's where you start. And then I was like, actually, it's not the classroom. And honestly, well, and y'all know we can have a real conversation. We know it's not most teachers. Now there's some teachers where we're just like, now, baby, that's not your ministry, babe.
Time to hang it up.
Hang it up, baby. Hang it up. Come on now. But for most of our, our teachers are loving, they're doing their best, but it's like, it's not on the teacher, it's the system. And if we're not changing the system, then we're not helping the teacher or the parent or the SPED coordinator or the principal or the administration of the school, or if it's, a charter, like whoever is CEO of the charter organization, you know what I mean? Like, so it's because it's a blessing to be able to help one child at a time, but it's bigger than that. And I feel like it's too many children with disabilities, both IEPs and 504s, baby, they're falling through the cracks. It's too many of them that are falling through the cracks.
And
It's too many of them being put on a certificate track when they shouldn't be, because that's the easy way out. Because most people are like, we don't have the resources. We're burnt out. We don't, what do? We don't know what to do.
we are fighting the system. And
We're
that
fighting the system. And if we're fighting the system, then the system needs to change. And again, I think that's why I started to pivot like, okay, well, I want to help be a decision maker in the system to be able to reach more families, to be able to help. That's why I'm pushing back. I'm just gonna tell y'all this now. I'm pushing back on Aussie. And I love Aussie and I love Dr. Mitchell and appreciate what they're doing. But why are we giving children with a disability why are we considering an alternate diploma?
because what happens is once they get that alternate diploma, the decisions that they have at 18 to 22, because our kids can stay in school a little bit longer with that IEP track or 504 track, the options that they have are so limited.
Exactly.
And be that way. But that goes back to, like you said, we are fighting the system. I mean, just like you said, we don't have enough related service providers. If you look at that vacancy list for DCPS, you can find a special
Oh my
education
gosh, the
any board
psychologist to
at
do the
any level.
valuations and all the different like I get emails from families all the time. Like one is looking for a speech provider because, because they're short staffed.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
Dominique, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh,
I
you're
interrupted
fine,
you.
you're fine. But that's basically what it is. We are fighting the system. If we want reform, we got to flip the whole thing upside down from the top to the bottom.
Mhm.
So this is what I wanted to talk to you all about today too, is even as we on the state board, we're looking at the grad requirements and we're looking at kids with disabilities, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like we should be looking at an alternate route to get the diploma. If we
Mhm.
give them an alternate diploma, are we just renaming a certificate?
Don't get me started because
I'm
why?
just you see what I'm saying? Like I feel like so is it lesser or and because I'm afraid that if we hold on, I'm gonna let you jump because I feel you. Come on, I felt you. I'm about to throw you the alley oop.
Well, my thing is, as a special education teacher, I sit in a classroom where I am expected to modify and accommodate instruction. Cool, not a problem. But why is it that when it comes to standards-based testing, getting graduation certificates, requirements, promotions, we are all lumped under this one umbrella? So what
That's
did I
what I
just do?
that's what I don't understand. And
So what did I just do?
and my thing is if you give them an alternate diploma, it feels like you're saying that's a lesser diploma because if it could still you're basically renaming a certificate.
Mhm.
Because everybody may not when you go from that 18 to 22, right? If you
Mhm.
go from that range of even with their jobs,
Right.
people may not that transition, people may not accept an alternate diploma. They might look at it like a certificate and go, "Okay, well maybe you just need to go back to getting a GED." Shouldn't we
Mhm.
just talk we should just be talking about an alternate pathway. So everything that we're saying that goes under this alternate diploma, okay, just put that under a grouping of an alternate path to be able to get to a diploma so we can stop lumping more children on a certificate track because as you know there are LEAs who are just overwhelmed and folks who are just overwhelmed. It's so much easier to put somebody on a certificate track. I ain't got to worry about testing. You're on an alternate assessment. You're already going to be basically here until 22, but did you even give somebody a chance?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the law states we're not even supposed to do that till ninth grade.
And back to what you
Third
said,
grade.
now we have families who are misinformed, uninformed, and who are agreeing to take this track and don't really understand the ramifications of the decisions that they make and how that affects them. When I tell y'all we are fighting the system, we are fighting the system from the top to the bottom. I mean, even in my position this year, I've covered 3 grade levels. I get paid the same as a teacher who teaches 1 grade level. How? Why? This is a caseload of students that I've never carried a caseload this big before,
Yeah.
and I do wear a lot of hats and I do a lot of things, but it's hard. It's been hard for me to manage my caseload this year,
Mhm.
and then you ask for help and you ask for support, and then you have teachers, administrators, LEAs, et cetera, across a system that don't completely understand what is to be expected or needed to be successful and run a special education program. So it's just a wide range of things. So we could sit here and talk till 4 o'clock about all the things, but I'm definitely with you that we have to look at some of these graduation requirements and how we inform families and students of their options moving forward. But
Yeah.
it's all complicit in the system. You want people to be uninformed and uneducated so that they can pass bills, laws, and legislations that cripple us for generations to come. And
Mhm.
just much like to what you said about our babies are slipping through the cracks. They are. And that's one of the reasons why I want out of special education in this capacity or out of the classroom in this capacity, because I cannot, in good faith, continue to sign off on paperwork or write progress monitoring notes and pass kids along who I know are struggling.
Mhm.
And because of your business model or your per ratio percentage of kids that you have to pass and retain, I have to turn a blind eye to what's going on. That's hard. That's hard. Like I don't want to be complicit in that part anymore. I want to be like what you said, LaJoy. I want to be a decision maker. I have to sit at the table. I can't sit with all this knowledge and all these experiences and continue to let things just be the way they are.
I want to pull on, and you all are amazing. You're like hitting all of these questions before we can even get to them. But I want to pull on that piece that you're talking about like feeling complicit in a system. And like that is, I think, probably the central cause of burnout, right? For a lot of it, is that like honestly, like that feeling of guilt, like I'm not doing enough and my hands are tied and I don't really know what to do. I don't have the tools, I don't have the resources. I was gen ed. I went into the classroom not really, I didn't know how to serve. I had some really high needs kids and serve, like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to look for. I sometimes didn't even have like couldn't find the signs when they were struggling. I was like, it manifests this way. I don't know what this means. I don't know what the root cause is. And I think part of it is that we are working in those silos, and that's by design. So I see you're starting to talk, LaJoy, so I want to throw it to you. But
oh, baby, no, this is my nose agreeing. Come on, baby. I am with you. And this is why not only am I calling on Empower Ed, I'm calling on everybody. Like what you just said is something that everybody should know. Special education. Let me look in the camera. Let me fix my tone.
When she get that mommy voice, yep. When she get that mommy
voice. Okay. Special education is on everybody. It is not just on the special education teacher. Special education is on the administration. It's on the principal. It's on the SPED coordinator. And it is on general education teachers. There are Caroline, what you have just said, it's so many teachers that have said that, and they're so overwhelmed that I think they get to a place of, I just don't want to deal anymore. Like, it's not my job, right? And I don't think they're saying that out of, like a cruel place. I think they're saying that, or a mean place. I think they're genuinely saying that, like, I don't know what to do.
I'm at my capacity.
I'm at capacity. And how about I'm over capacity? I'm overwhelmed. I have anxiety. I'm trying to do my best, but I don't feel like my best is good enough. It's too much and I can't deal. So that's not my job. You need to talk to the special education person. And we have to do, as again, Dominique, I'm looking at you, like we said, like the system, we have to do a better job. Special education training should be for everybody. Now, I know that we have the WTU and they have the contracts, and I know we have different charters here. Okay, don't judge me, y'all. That is wonderful that we have this type of system where parents can figure out where they want to go. Okay. But guess what? If you're going to have this type of system that is not like any other system really in the country, then baby, everybody needs to be held accountable. And special education is one of those things where everybody needs to be held accountable. Charters are struggling. DCPS is struggling. If everybody is struggling with the same daggone problem, then we need to do a better job of fixing it. How many more lawsuits we gonna have? How many more legal? How much more legal can legal counsel do? How many times do we have to tell folks you are not in compliance with IDEA? How many times we got to say we need more compulsory education? We need more services to where now we have to go outside of the school and everything else down the sun. And will it change everything? No, but there has to be training and tools and resources for everybody in the school that touches children. And maybe I shouldn't say touches, that interacts with children.
Well, I'm definitely with you on the IDEA thing. I definitely think that is a policy and amendment that needs to be updated.
Yeah.
It's been 50 years, easy. And there's been no update. There's been no.
It's never been fully funded.
IDEA has never been fully funded.
Which I think I mean, we've touched on a lot of like really beautiful pieces here, I think, looking at like what successful inclusion for special education looks like. And I think you're right, it does mean like we need to be breaking down a lot of those silos and thinking about ways that we can, we have another teacher who's one of our fellows that says all the time, gen ed teachers need to be taking the same PDs that, you know, special education teachers are taking. And I think that's true. I think something that would have been helpful for me is like, I got like 1 or 2 like fly-in trainings for some of my students, and then like not a lot of follow-up. And then when I was struggling with that, it was, I think just like making sure that like planning times align is really like, that would be you know, a relatively simple thing, but that could be really helpful.
Too much like right. We're co-teaching in the same classroom with the same curriculum, but we have no aligned planning time. How does that work?
It's hard.
How do we co-teach together when we can't even co-plan together?
That part.
But I'm with you that, oh, I pulled my earring out. But I'm with you that everybody should have the same training. And not even so much that it's just, oh, you're not a special education teacher or general education teacher. I do a lot of what a general education teacher should be doing. I should be differentiating instruction. I should be providing instruction in a oral kinesthetic and a what's the other oral kinesthetic and a visual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are things that we should be doing to entice our kids in the classroom anyway. So there's a lot to gain from, you know what I'm saying, special education training and things like that.
Yeah. And I think people also too, like, might be like scared. And it's like, oh my gosh, like you guys are asking me to be like a whole expert. No, no, no. That's not what we're saying. We're not asking you to be an expert where you need thousands of training, and I mean thousands of training, like degrees, and where you've dedicated your life to SPED. Okay, if that's not your calling, that's not your ministry, right? That's not your calling, that's not your ministry. That's okay. But what we are saying is that, kind of to Caroline's point, I'm a gen ed teacher and I'm overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. You should never feel overwhelmed and you don't know what to do when there are resources and tools available to help you. And again, I think I talked to Scott about this. He was like, a really great model is the peer-to-peer teaching. You know, if Dominique is, if Caroline, I'm thinking, if Caroline, if you and Dominique are teaching at the same school, and Dominique is the inclusion teacher, right? You all should be playing off of each other. And again, like Dominique can help train all the gen ed teachers to be like, okay, guys, these are best practices. If you have a child and you suspect them of having a disability, this is the SPED process of what needs to happen. Here's RTI. This is response to intervention while we know we're short psychologists. Let's give real examples. We're short psychologists. We suspect that Johnny has a disability. And so, but we're trying to get him evaluated. But we can still give him RTI, response to intervention, resources and tools to help him in the meantime because of what we suspect is happening. And you all can do that together, not just on Dominique to do this one thing. And then to bring in the parent aspect of it all, the two of you are working with the parent in the meantime while we're trying to get this baby evaluated to see, do they need an IEP? Do they need a 504? And if they don't, maybe this evaluation has just shown us, shed light on something that we didn't know.
You got me thinking. I was just sitting here thinking because now my mind went into one, how many of our kids do not get the services that they need because we are underfunded and understaffed. But to the contrary, how many of our babies are misidentified because of the instructional gaps that they just naturally have? Well, I don't want to say naturally have, but the instructional gaps that are accrued for whatever reason, whether it be attendance, slow progress, you know, just things of that nature. But then when you were talking about the RTI thing, like just that's another layer of work that gets put on a teacher. And it's like, You want me to run whole group? You want me to run small group? You want me to do RTI? I got, and it's a lot. We haven't even talked about classroom management. This is why I say the whole system. We got to look at the whole system. Because if you ask me, everybody should have a co-teacher.
And then there's another tool that could be used that people don't know, is that for parents, like when all this stuff is happening, like once they get their IEP and once they're deemed eligible, there's something to where whatever you all are kind of like teaching, not so much teaching, but if there's like something specific that you all need the parents to help do at home, or that the related service provider can do at home, you all can put parent training as a related service. People don't know that.
You can.
Come on, come on. We helping each other, right?
So, it's so funny that you said that, because at a previous school that I was at, I wanted to run a program where every quarter we do a parent night. And every quarter, when the parents come in, essentially what they learn is what topics and standards are being covered that quarter, what resources they have available to them, quick training, like, just a quick little math lesson to refresh you as to where you are. But that also opens the door for a lot of our parents who maybe have struggled academically. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are unfortunately a lot of illiterate adults who are trying to get better help and services for their children. And DC is a very resource rich city. We are very resource rich, but there's a disconnect somewhere in either making people aware, or are they not offered during the right times? Like, nothing drives me crazier than having a great program during business hours, because who's coming? We all conducting business.
I'm gonna give a quick, that's one of the great things about the state board, though, is that it is after business hours. Teachers, families can be there.
Off the state board and the chairman for making a room for teachers to be able to testify after school, making a way. We got to start somewhere. Small games.
Praise him. We praise him.
Thank you. We'll take that. But I mean, there's just so much, y'all, that we could talk about and we could do. But I hope from this conversation, we definitely can put some action steps together.
I learned a lot
too.
LaJoy just told me something I didn't know, and I'm a special education teacher. I've never heard that we could put parent training as a related service. Now, I'm not a related service provider, but still, like, that is.
So it can still be with specialized instructions. So, like, Dominique, let's do a real, like, don't tell me the child's disability. Don't tell me confidential information, right? But tell me something like.
I think we're losing you a little bit, LaJoy.
Kind of gain from something that you're teaching. Like, let's say, like, with manipulatives or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there, like, what specific skill are you just like, man, I wish mom or dad or grandma could do this at home, but I don't think they know how. Like, what's something that, you know what I mean?
No, I'll keep it simple.
Anything you
I think that families sometimes can be a bit eluded. No, that's not the right word. I think they can sometimes misgauge how cognitive and processing delays work in children. So they may see them do household things or independent living skill things very well. And they may think that that translates into the classroom, and it doesn't always do that. So one thing I would love for parents or families to understand is that, one, repetition is key. Two, we have to speak the same language. If you're doing first and then at home, I don't need to be doing next and last at school. I need to be doing first and then like you're doing at home. In addition to that, I would love for parents, communities, families, whoever interacts with these children, to understand how they learn. Are you a visual learner? Are you an oral learner? Do you do better with regurgitation and just listening? Those are like the small key things that could make a big difference in somebody's progress or accessibility to the community and things like that. I also wish
So let's
parents.
use your example.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I was going to say
No, no,
support
go ahead,
groups.
finish.
That was going to be my third thing, support groups. I wish that there were more prevalent support groups, or parents had more of a inclusive community so that they had support.
Mhm.
Mhm. So a couple of things. I'll start backwards. For the support groups, it's funny you say that. That is something that I found from my data collection, talking to caregivers of parents in my study. And I
Mhm.
think that's something we're going to have to do more advocacy around, also from a community aspect and even from a policy aspect.
Mhm.
So for that piece. For the second piece, what you said about about first and then, right? About how a child is processing, like, what I'm thinking about, like, when it's consecutive. It's like, oh, okay, like first and then, first and then. So you could be doing the same thing at school. Or if you're doing first and then mom, dad, or grandma can do the same thing at home. You can create a goal for that, put in for parent training, if the IEP team agrees, right, and put that under related services, under parent training, to say our goal is to work on consecutive repetition with first and then. I'm just making that up.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to following directions or instructions from anybody.
Mm-hmm. I love also that this conversation, we moved from like that really high systems level, and now we're getting into like some of those like applicable. We talked a little bit about teaming and what you can do at the school level, and now we're getting into like the individual, I guess, like the interpersonal stuff that can really help a student succeed and an educator succeed and a parent succeed. I think in our closing, I guess my closing question, and this is something that we ask our fellows when we're what if you had a magic wand to fix one thing in this system, to fix one structural inequity related to special education? What is it that you would change?
Can I have two?
It's just one. My Lord.
You can have as many magic wands as you want.
I think my one would be to fill the vacancies. That would be one.
Yeah. Okay, so
I just-
fill vacancies.
Can I have a combo?
Yeah.
Okay, like a combo platter.
In a
Okay.
perfect world. Perfect
Right.
world.
So in a perfect world, one would, for every single classroom from pre-K3 to 12th grade, to have an inclusive co-teaching model in every single classroom, period. I don't care if it's art, I don't care if it's history, I do not care what it is. There is always the gen ed teacher and the inclusion teacher, so that way they feed off of each other and help everybody and help each other. My combo would be, I wish all parents knew their rights and were informed, because when the system decides to show off, when you have, no offense, a mob of angry parents who know their rights and can push back, things get done,
They
and
do.
things move. And I see it happen every day in affluent neighborhoods with affluent children and affluent families. It doesn't happen like that over east of the river. And so I wish every single family that has an IEP or a 504, regardless of socioeconomic status, knew their rights. So that way, when there are issues, we could squat up on people and be able to help solve them before they get out of hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think my second one would be for us to understand that special education teachers, although we are not general education teachers, we have more of a caseload and workload than the average bear. And for
Yeah.
that to be considered so that special education teachers can work with fidelity?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I need the planning time, like you said, the paperwork time, like you said, you
So
know.
not still a whole
Yeah,
job.
because I'm not taking anything away from people who grade papers and do grades or anything like that. But have you ever written 100 progress monitoring comments for 30 kids?
And you all are doing the grading too. It's not like this is an either or. This is a both and it's
I said both and. That means you're doing both things and.
Yes, some people are. Some people are doing grades and progress monitoring now. In this particular situation that I'm leaving now, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Please, Lord, don't do me through this, Jesus. I'm no longer doing grades, but I'm progress monitoring. So y'all know my struggle. But we have to allow special education teachers more time to do their job with fidelity.
Mm.
That would
Yeah.
be my magic wand.
Dominique, can I ask a follow-up question? Like, do you mind?
I don't mind. We can always edit.
Okay. You taught in both sectors, right?
Public and charter?
Yeah, like DCPS and DC Public Charter.
No. Prince George's
Okay, I
County.
thought you.
Prince George's
Okay.
County. I did a year in Alexandria City, and then I've been in DCPS the remainder of the time.
So, okay, so how about this then? Is there a theme that has emerged between the different jurisdictions when it comes to special education?
You already know it. The special education demographic and programs that I experienced in Alexandria City in Virginia were nothing like what I've experienced in Prince George's County in DCPS.
Mm.
But that also comes with money, access, being affluent, the things that we already know, that drive success.
Mm.
Oh, where'd she go? She's frozen.
Well, wait till she comes back and
I hope she heard me.
I think so. I think in some ways also that's kind of what she was trying to get at. Oh, we
Mm,
lost.
lost her. She coming back though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the biggest differences I see. Like even when I was in Virginia for that 1 year, I mean, they don't have all the problems figured out, but they were resource rich and they weren't stingy with it. Ask a question, you get an answer, or they
And
point you in the direction of somebody that has an answer. I mean, and those things are available within DCPS too. It's just we are a resource rich city and we are a political city,
yes. Yeah.
all the way up and down.
All the way up and down. And LaJoy, we're glad to have you back. I know you have a hard stop in a few. So
We can't hear you,
I think
sister.
you're muted.
I said I'm in the car now, so like I can keep going. And Dominique, I'm mad. I missed your answer. I was like, baby, I know there's some themes.
Run it back.
I know there's some themes between the
It's,
jurisdictions because SPED this
it's
ain't just a
just
DC problem. This is a national problem.
it's just like the theme that you highlighted, the issues that they got uptown ain't the issues that we have east of the river.
Oh,
I mean,
well.
Virginia was a very different experience. I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
Professionally. I did not enjoy it culturally. I did not enjoy being the token black girl from across the bridge. So I brought my butt back across the bridge. That's what they used to say. Oh, that's that girl from across the bridge. They used to
Oh no.
like, we almost didn't recognize you. You changed your hair. I'm like, this is Alexandria City, y'all, like a couple years ago.
My Lord.
But yeah, I mean, the things that we see that are consistent here are happening nationally.
Mhm. I think I think that might be a good place for us to stop. And I am so, so grateful for you all and your time and the closing words. The things that are happening here are happening everywhere.
Mhm.
And as much autonomy as we can, bring to the local level, I think if we can make DC especially an example of how advocacy can change this game, I think we can really have some big ripple effects.
Well, if we don't get a strong hold on advocacy and a seat at the table and some really sound policies to take them, because I'm at a place in my life where I don't take people problems no more unless I have an answer. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, and let me tell you what we're gonna do to fix it. Because
Absolutely.
we do not get a hold on what is going on locally, and y'all see the feds all in our business.
Okay.
They all up in it.
And oh, go ahead, Dominique. I was gonna
No,
piggyback on what you said. No, you
that's
go
what I
ahead
was
and
gonna
finish,
say.
baby.
I hope that from even this conversation, and these are things that we do in the background anyway, that there is some type of initiatives or policies or plans that we can put in place to try and, shake things up a little bit. And I do love Dr. Mitchell over at Aussie. I cannot wait to get a meeting on her calendar to pick her brain and see what she thinks and where their vision is headed, and kind of share some of our experiences from this side so that they are making a informed decision of how some of their thoughts and practices and policies may affect the people boots on the ground. But what I do want to say is to the people watching or who will see this, you may not be politically involved, but you are politically impacted. And for that reason alone, you need to be politically informed. So let's get to it.
Thank you.
We have to be active people.
Thank you. LaJoy, final word.
Final words. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Dominique said. Not only do we have to be active, I'm gonna take it a step further. Get off your behind, and we need you to be bold. This is a time for courage, and this is a time to be bold. Because another thing that I just want to stress to folks that are watching, when we talk about the federal government and how they all in our business and they're doing crazy stuff right now, are they doing some crazy things and some very clinch your pearls things? Yes, but baby, DC, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, shawty.
We should have been the example. We should have been the
example. We should not be behind in special education. We did not do what as my mama would say, baby, you did not do what you were supposed to do. And so now you have to play, now you got to double up, now you got to triple up to fix what's broken. So I don't want to hear no tears and, oh, we got the money. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We should have been fixed this problem. We should have been made sure these kids had what they needed. So I don't want no hemming and hawing, okay? Because guess what? Everybody call Miss LaJoy and everybody else to fight for everybody else's children, okay? So if you can fight for everybody else's children, then we can all be bold and fight for Black children and children that have special needs. Amen?
Amen.
And amen. Because I'm tired of it. I mean, real talk, last words, I'm tired. I'm fed up. I am absolutely fed up. And I don't want to come off as an angry Black person, but I'm fed up. And we all should be fed up with how our children have been treated. We got to do better. And it's not going to take just the government to solve these issues either. To the community, to the CBOs, baby, we calling on you too.
Because let me tell you something. The government wasn't the first people to feed children free breakfast. It was the Black Panthers. So let that be some type of inkling to the type of revolution that we need. We got to get back in them church basements. We got to get back in the living room.
Baby, and how about this? How about the Black Panthers? I'm thinking about when I think this was like the 60s or the 70s. And when they were trying to I don't know if it was ADA, it was one of the disability laws that they were trying to do. And they basically protested and they took over, I think it was like the Human Service Building at the time, the government, the Federal Human Service Building, and they took over. And we're talking about those who are those who have disabilities, physical, intellectual, mental, emotional, everybody, right? And so the building was flooded with those, with different wheelchairs and things of that nature. The Black Panther came and fed them, y'all. They were the first ones to come and feed them. A lot of people did not want to come. A lot of people didn't really understand what they were doing. And at first did not want to assist and did not want to help. It was the Black Panthers who initially fed those who had disabilities. when they when they protested to
Gave
get
me something to go look up. I like a good history lesson.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you both. Again, like I keep saying this, I've learned a lot in this conversation, and I learned a new history fact, which if you know me, I love to learn. So thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you both on our podcast. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your time.
What's the name of the podcast again? Educator Revolution.
Educator Wellness Revolution.
Educator Wellness Revolution. Okay.
All right.
I'm so thankful that you asked us to come. I've had a good time.
I love this. I love this. And when you all post about this, please be prepared for me to put this on Instagram. I will be using Kirk Franklin's Revolution, and I will be tagging Empower Ed. Baby, it's time for the revolution, and it's time to be bold. It's time. And I thank you, Caroline, and to Dominique, and to everybody at Empower Ed. Thank y'all for just including me in these conversations and for everything that you all do in the community. And I can't wait to see you guys soon.
I know.
For the ceremonial resolution recognizing.
Are you coming to the Teacher Voice Awards? You coming, right? The Teacher Voice Awards?
Hold on. I'm gonna stop recording for a second.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you guys can stay. But to the audience.